Matthew Kroenig joins me now. He's a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council. He served in the Department of Defense and the intelligence community during the George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump administrations. Matthew, always great to have you here.
Great to be back.
You had a piece in the Wall Street Journal about the recently announced nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia. It has many great paragraphs in it, but this one caught my eye. Providing Saudi Arabia a pathway to build the capacity the U.S. Air Force is raising in Iran gives hypocrisy a bad name. It not only would make it more difficult to get Iran to restrict its own program, but also set a poor example and encourage other nuclear suppliers to misbehave. What else is wrong with it?
Well, I think the important thing to know is there's a big difference between having a truly peaceful nuclear energy program, operating reactors to produce energy. Big difference between that and making fuel for nuclear reactors, because once you can make the fuel for reactors, you can also make fuel for nuclear weapons. So U.S. policy, really going back to Eisenhower, has been to say, if you want reactors, no problem, we'll help you, but you can't make the fuel. That's been a good policy that works. This recent Saudi deal, however, says that the United States may decide to help Saudi Arabia build a fuel-making capability, which I think would be a bad mistake, and essentially give Saudi Arabia the ability to produce nuclear weapons.
In your piece, you also mentioned the effect this could have in Egypt and Turkey. Explain to my audience why that's important.
Yes, well, the Middle East is a dangerous region, as your audience knows. We know that Iran has been pursuing what I think is a nuclear weapons capability for many years, and other countries in the region have recently started their own peaceful nuclear programs. But if you see Iran building a nuclear fuel-making capability, Saudi Arabia developing a nuclear fuel-making capability, then other countries in the region might want to do the same thing, and you could be on your way to a nuclear arms race in the world's most dangerous region.
And Egypt and Turkey are serious countries with real capacity.
That's right. And, this is 80-year-old technology right now. I think we often think of it as cutting-edge technology, but we've seen Iran, Pakistan, North Korea, not the most advanced countries, develop these capabilities. So I think it's certainly within the
And I read in your piece that we have an understanding with the United Arab Emirates not to do this, but they can now, if it happens in Saudi Arabia, they can renegotiate that and get some of their own.
Yes, 2009, as the Bush administration was going out, negotiated maybe the best nuclear agreement ever with UAE, the so-called gold standard, where the UAE promised they would never make nuclear fuel. And so we wanted that to be the standard for new agreements. But it says that if we give a better deal to their neighbors, they can renegotiate. So now with this Saudi deal, it's possible that UAE is going to say, hey, let's take another look at this agreement. We might want to make nuclear fuel as well.
This is a super important topic. And you say at the end that Trump could stick with this deal, give it to Congress, and let Congress sort it out, because Congress has to approve this. What should happen in Congress to make this deal better, or is it a deal that has so many defects we ought not to rely on Congress to make it better?
I think there are a couple ways we could make it better. One, we know that Trump loves to negotiate and renegotiate. He's expressed some skepticism about this deal in recent days.
Right after it was announced and signed, actually.
That's right. A Truth Social post casting some doubt on it. So he could renegotiate it. Or Congress could condition its implementation. Doing this will require the allocation of funds. Congress, of course, has the power of the purse. So they could say we're only going to pay for this if certain conditions are met, including this enrichment part is canceled.
So script writers love to talk about magical thinking and black boxes. Not funny in this context.
Yeah, so to try to sell the deal, the Department of Energy has said this fuel-making capability might be provided, but it will be in a black box, suggesting, I guess, that Saudi Arabia wouldn't be able to access it. But they haven't explained what this means. And in practice, if you have a big nuclear fuel-making plant in Saudi Arabia, you're going to have technicians, engineers. I think Saudi Arabia is going to learn the technology, or it's in their territory.
And as we've learned from Iran, you cannot unlearn that.
That's right. Once they know how to do it, they could kick the Americans out, do it themselves. If it's in Saudi territory.
So the magical thinking is you can contain it once you start it.
Yeah, I think it's unrealistic to say this technology would really be put in a black box, as the Energy Department says.
Great piece. Wonderful stuff. Matthew Kroenig, I appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.